Doing something funny to know about? Otherwise, let's go and get this show going. Well, fighting a bad connection, but I'm an old dish imperative. So, kicking this off with a little something here. Oh, now it plays.
I was trying to ask you something anyways. Look at the private chat. I was trying to talk to you before you went live. What the hell is going on here? Bob, you're muted, you dummy. Did your mic go out?
Testing, check. Hello.
Oh, fuck, we can't hear him. I mean, I was trying to get a stream out of this, but you didn't give me enough time to find out if this was one I could simulcast or not. I don't really have much ability to do much streams right now.
Hold on. Let's try some here and then back on there.
Ay.
Well, it's open as far as I'm concerned. It's like,
Oh, I was trying to figure out what all of your tasks you were trying to do were. I don't know if you just couldn't hear me talking or what. Because
I can hear you. I can hear you fine.
No, before the stream, I was not muted. I tried to talk to you when you first came here before you went live.
Well, you were muted then, but you're not muted now. I can hear you.
I wasn't muted then.
I was showing muted. Yeah, but he was first. But anyway, whatever. We're in it now.
Yeah, and I don't do halfway streams, so it's too late for me to be able to get one out of this.
Okay. Well, anyway,
which was why I was trying to talk to you first.
Okay.
Ay.
I could pull the plug and start it over. I don't know.
We're having one of those fucking days. I mean.
Yeah. What?
Okay. I just got on the Fan Home website.
Yes.
They do have a customer service number.
That's nice.
Why don't you write it down?
Because I'm in the middle of a live stream here. We'll deal with it later, all right? Christ almighty. Could we get any more inappropriate timing-wise? Your timing sucks, as always. Okay. Let's get into the thing here. We started this off here. Gene Roddenberry lost a lot of friends during the first year of Star Trek. Yeah. Basically, it's finally the show where he was in charge. And he was
Let's be a little honest. He kind of let his ego run away with him some of the time, too.
Oh, yeah.
Got a bit pushy with shit. Yeah. I mean, even he said that in later interviews. So, yeah. I mean, that's not like me bashing on him.
Oh, no. He had the attitude like, I'm going to make them crawl like they made me crawl. Like, he was, unfortunately, it wasn't getting back to people who made him crawl. It was getting up people who were trying to get up on their own. And
and he wasn't the greatest to giving everybody credit for all the stuff they did for him in the show.
Yeah.
And I don't say this as somebody to bash on him because we all have troubled backgrounds and have done stupid shit.
Yeah.
I say this because it's context to part of the reasons why all this shit happened.
Yeah. And actually more of the credits than it was after the show was wrapped and the legend started to grow of the great bird of the galaxy. During the show, it's like he rewrote everybody, mostly with no screen credit. He was just like, no, he knows what these characters want to look like, but the thing is, some of these characters they really weren't there yet, so he couldn't say write it like this, because going into the
he had a bit of a runaway ego.
Yeah. When the series just getting started, Roddenberry was adamant about the types of stories he wanted to be included in the. They're okay. Karen interviewed. They're just kind of mining the book. We got it. Yeah, stuff. Okay. They're kind of going back because the 50-year, the 50-year mission. Again, we're approaching the 60th here, so this book is about 10 years old now. But
hello, asshole.
Compared to you.
So they're going through a lot of shit here.
Steph, you do not need to greet yourself when you join a stream.
Yeah. But talking about how he wrote everybody, even best friends. He got the, hey, can we come and help me out with the show here? But he would write it because, and he got a lot of bruised egos, and nobody likes being rewritten, especially when you get someone like Harlan Ellison, who threatens violence upon anybody who dares touch his words.
I'm just going to point out, Steph, by the way, you can't come in and greet us by calling us assholes and then get offended when I throw it back at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You started it, you crazy ass bitch.
Okay.
Sorry, I have to take a shot at your wife right now.
All right.
I know.
Anyway,
I actually talked to my therapist about what
Anyway.
Yes. Anyway, moving on. Back to the back to the topic here before it gets further derailed. All right. That said, right? He said, don't. He was in his head. He couldn't say, "Right, Mr. Spock, like you write so and so." It's like because there hadn't been anyone like that before. So he came in, he reviewed everyone, and because he knew how he wanted Spock and Kirk to be on screen, he wrote every one of them.
And he was a shameless ego whore and had a tendency to not credit people for all the work they did on songs and other stuff. And again, everything that we already know that's been admitted. So there's a lot of reasons he lost a lot of friends during this time.
Yeah. Like John D.F. Black he left. He was the script editor, story editor before the thing started off, but it pissed him off royally because he rewrote The Naked Time and but said that Roddenberry was right about the characters and as well as a lot of things. Let's just say diplomacy wasn't necessarily his strong suit.
And sharing credit wasn't. I just have to keep drilling that one home because there's so much evidence of that.
I know, but again, a lot of that, because you look at the making of Star Trek, he gives everybody credit for this is matching, but later years again, that's when he really started. When everyone started,
it got worse later.
It got worse. It got worse.
And it got there pretty quickly through a few seasons of different shows. I mean, he just it really. By the time you had the second season, he was getting to that point where he wasn't giving everyone as much credit.
Yeah.
Well, ego's a hell of a drug. I mean, let's be honest.
It was like second season is when Gene Kuhn was really running the roost there. And I think, because it was really it hit its stride there, especially when Gene Kuhn came on by halfway through the first season. Because John D.F. Black got pissed off, left. I think Steve Karabatos was there for a while, then Roddenberry's having a line produce himself for a while because like he started up really, but Justman took a lot of slack there. But when Gene Kuhn came in, that really started things solidify. That's when you got the Federation, Starfleet. The fact this isn't just an Earth. Because before Gene Kuhn came out, it's always the Earth ship, or
I mean,
referring to
to be fair, I think there was definitely an amount of, I've gone into it, plagiarism both from Roddenberry and Kuhn that was done during that era of writing against Henline, Asimov, and stuff like that. If you look at their work, I mean, this wasn't just ideas lifted. This was entire names, concepts, government designs, and other stuff completely lifted from their works and put into Star Trek. And again, not a problem if they'd given better credit to the origin.
Yeah, I bet Asimov was probably done with this because he was corresponding with Asimov constantly. They became very good friends after the 60s.
Oh, I know.
After WorldCon.
And Henline.
And Heinlein probably, he was probably
called himself a fan of Star Trek a few times.
Yeah.
But he also very plainly knew they stole ideas from Star Beast because there's some really overt shit that was taken. But I think he just decided, but again, not to say the guy's minded, but it would have been more responsible, more morally and ethically correct to give better credit to their origination.
Well, I bet with Heinlein, because he kind of brushed off Trouble with Tribbles, when David Gerald unconsciously ripped off the Rolling Stones. Because the story he written about, this traveling family of, space traders who came across. The initial thing was because he originally called the creatures fuzzies. And because H.B. Piper's story is a little fuzzy, it's like, but my creatures doesn't like his. His were, H.B. Piper's were little furry humanoids. It's like, it doesn't matter. Legal once you change the name. Okay, fine. Everybody just stumbled upon the name Tribbles. But they kind of missed the concept of little balls of fur that breathe like crazy. That was one of the linchpins of the Rolling Stones, because they came across these things called flat cats, which bred like crazy and started taking over the ship and overrunning the ship. So, and when Robert Heinlein wrote in and wanted an autographed copy of the script, and that's when it snapped. Oh my God, what have I done? David Charles' mind. That's when he remembered that story. Oh shit.
Remember.
And Heinlein dropped it. Look, it all goes back to the story Pigs is Pigs. About the farmer who ordered a couple of guinea pigs. And the guy at the train station never heard of guinea pigs. All you see is pigs. Well, this isn't the right paperwork for livestock. They're not livestock. They're getting pigs is pigs. And meanwhile, they're arguing over the paperwork. The guinea pigs are breathing like crazy, and he's hip deep in them.
I find it amazing and interesting to really study where these ideas come from, how they get them from other people, how you make amends once you've done that. And I think in sci-fi community, they tend to be a lot more forgiving of the plagiarists than they do in some other communities.
Well, it's also back in the day. TV shows did it all the damn time.
Even back then, the sci-fi community is a lot more forgiving of the plagiarists than a lot of others are. And so I think some of the people writing in it also had a tendency to do it because they knew they were more likely to get away with it then, as long as they're in this group. Yes. Your husband froze, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
It's so much fun when I get to take over. I see, this is why he should talk to me. We should actually start scheduling things so I can actually co-host things more to both channels and get some views for my fucking self.
But I like spontaneity.
But I am too autistic for this shit.
Okay.
And I don't know what happens because I mute all notifications because I can't stand the phone chiming at me because I'm too autistic for this.
Okay, but yeah, it's like if you're doing a Western, everyone knows. Yeah, have you done your high noon episode? Have you done your have you done your whatever? So it's like, in science, again, we're still talking 1960s TV, so it's still a lot of.
I think there's also a difference while he's frozen like a dumbass. There's also a lot of difference in the general concepts versus really overt, really detailed ideas being taken to. And I did see more of that in classic TV when it comes to science fiction than I saw in other media. I'm not to say that plagiarism isn't the spice of life for a lot of artists and authors. And
I think with sci-fi on TV at the time was also, there aren't many of us. We better stick together and not cause problems. So it's like,
Oh, honey. Didn't Terminator have to settle a lawsuit with Harlan?
Oh, they had to pay big time because basically what Cameron did was ripped off a couple of Harlan Ellison stories.
You're saying all this, and all I'm thinking about is part in Blazing Saddles where you're going, what are you worried about? It's 1874. You'll be able to sue her. Beware of pushing buttons too hard. It's a fine line. See, the constant freezing is what he gets for not slowing down and giving me time to talk to him. This is his payback. 1 sec.
Okay, there we go. But yeah, no, he apparently
And there you go again.
Gosh, shut up! I'm already back on. God damn it! No, it's a Twilight Zone story, Soldier, about a guy who comes back from the future. There was a word, and I think there was also another one that played into the robot aspect. So he, that's why I think it's like
you are hunted by a gnome. I mean,
if Harlan had been around for what they did in Discovery with the Guardian Forever,
Mm.
Doesn't matter how old and sick he was, he would have been right down there and in Kurtzman's office with that same noose he hang outside of Roddenberry's office door. So get inside, pointed the noose, said, "Tell me you did not rip off my story."
There's a reason I called that show Shit Discovery.
Oh, good. I just go with Foley's thing. Refuse to call it Star Trek Discovery. It's just Discovery. It's not Star Trek.
I just call it STD because it seems to be an STD.
Yeah.
It burns like hell. It destroys everything it
Mhm.
touches, and you can't hardly get rid of it.
And now we go back to this. So Section 30 may flop because it was made knowing it wasn't the Trek fans wanted.
You mean like 99% of modern Trek?
Imagine going to your favorite steakhouse. You place your order. You're waiting patiently. Then your food comes. Yet it isn't the delicious piece of beef you ordered. Instead, it's the most impressive-looking sushi you could picture. Do you eat it? Not likely, because it's not what you wanted. It's not what you ordered, and it's damn sure is not what you expected. So why do filmmakers keep trying to subvert expectations by giving fans of established franchises different things than they want? I'm not watching Ozark for its fun sitcom. I'm not watching Community because I want high-tension scares, and I'm not watching Bluey because I like cats. And I'm not watching Star Trek for something else's interpretation of what they think Star Trek should be. There's a formula, successful formula, and deviating from it makes very little sense, especially after the last 8 years where we know what does and doesn't work for the brand. Yet, people still try to make something that's decidedly not Star Trek and do so intentionally. Star Trek Section 31's Robert Kaczynski admits that he knows Section 31 is not what the fans want, and he's terrified of the response the film will get because of it. According to SFX magazine, which was, fans will love it. But I'm terrified of what's going to happen how it's going to be received because it's not the Trek people want. Goes on to say people would want fans and next generations, and they, for some reason, this thing cuts off the TNG. And the Trek what people want, we all want is just 1,000 more episodes of TNG. Everyone wants, everyone's always furious they're not getting more TNG. While at the same time, TNG came out and everybody hated it. Okay. Which isn't true.
No. That has been a misnomer and a lie from the very beginning when they started saying it.
I mean, at the
were there some original series fans who warred with it and didn't like it? Yes.
We're a little apprehensive. And a lot of the cast also, Nichelle Nichols was the only one who came out saying, "Hey, it's Gene Roddenberry behind it. Let's get behind this." Everyone was like, "How can they do it without us?" And even he was, it's ego. And you're glad to be proven wrong.
But it was not everyone hated it. That was never the case. It's bullshit. That it was a lie created to rattle somebody's ego and pat them on the nuts or something. Yeah, fucking bullshit.
It's the same thing as like every first season of these series. No, first season of Star Trek is some of the best shows of the entire franchise. Yeah.
And you know what? Yes, there were issues in the first season of Next Gen, but it actually was not that bad.
Yeah, there are some very good episodes in that season. Yeah, there's a couple of clunkers here and there, but
yeah, but there's a few clunkers in every fucking Star Trek show. Let's be fucking honest.
Well, every show, and not just Star Trek, but you like 26 episodes a season, you're gonna have a clunker or two.
I mean, I would say I think with some of the old sitcoms, there's not as many where it's direct clunker because it's silly. It's meant to be goofy. It's not as serious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like even watching back a lot of these old shows that I love.
Yeah.
I watch Last Man Standing. I watch all these other shows. There's usually 1 or 2 episodes I don't feel like watching and I'll skip. And not even if they're a good episode or not. It's like I'm just not in the mood.
Yeah.
It's not as good as the others.
Not that fans want more of Next Generation. They want more of the formula that the original series created and that was expanded by Next Generation, DS9, Voyager, and Enterprise. It's that type of show that the show type that Strange New Worlds and Prodigy have embraced that fans want more of. Well, only
I'd like to argue with the comment about Enterprise. That one was actually pretty universally hated during its heyday.
No, but it's gone better appreciated in recent years.
Sorry,
Yeah,
that's
because
just a hindsight at the comparison to how shit stuff is.
No, I
now.
know,
It's
but
still
yeah,
a crappy ass show.
it's because of what a total shit show Discovery is. Because well, actually, Enterprise wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it was. You're just blindsided by what's really horrible.
No, I can't. I took it. Okay, look, we're not dealing with Daedalus class ships. We're fine. We're not.
No, it's a crappy show. You're not budging me on that one.
Moving on. Okay.
Bitch.
But it's like, with Strange New World, it's only in the skeletal frame of it, of how you do it episodes, which is basic television, especially by now. And Prodigy is like, again, it's episodic television. That's as old as, old as I Love Lucy to an extent. Okay. I'll go back to radio for that matter. The fact he doesn't get that shows me he's not really a big Star Trek fan. I'm not going to go that far. Okay. I don't like being qualified. Well, you're not a fan if you don't like that. No, not everyone's an uber geek. Okay. I'll take it the fact he's a fan, just not necessarily well studied. Okay. You understand that? What one is the basic definition of a Star Trek show? We don't want things that are wildly different from what we brought us to fandom, because then it wouldn't be Trek. And again, even that I want to say go, because I don't, if you can play around with it, because DS9.
Every Star Trek
kind of a
show
break.
has changed the formula of the last show.
Yeah.
But it kept true to the heart of Star Trek and the intention behind it. That was the point.
You got to stay with
No, we don't want a precise formula that never varies. That's bullshit.
No, that's any show.
That's fucking boring.
Yeah. That's why. I think with Lower Decks fits in there, because you're not violating the universe. You're taking it down a step. You're no longer with the flagship. You're down with the support guys who come in afterwards. And these guys aren't necessarily the best and the brightest, but they're still dedicated officers and they get the job done. But they're,
fans want more Next Gen. It's like, that was not my favorite show, and I don't know many people who that was their favorite show. Not downing it. I love the show. Too bad the actors are pieces of shit, but I love the show. But no, I don't know any Trek fan who literally thinks it's the gold standard. Now, are there some? I'm sure, but that's not the normal Trek fan.
I mean, season 3 of Picard show, they can still bring it, and it's still possible to do this kind of thing.
I'm still not going to watch it. I don't give a fuck.
And as far as it's just all fan service. Yeah, we earned that fan service. We after how many years of abuse from Discovery and 2 years of Picard, we earned that fan service. The only thing missing was a lap dance from a couple of oiled up Orion slave girls. Okay, come on.
Can we stop bad-mouthing fan service? It sounds like the anti-anime losers anyways.
Yeah. It's like, that's the reason you have fans in the first fucking place, okay? If you don't have fans, you don't have a show. Okay. You better service them once in a while. Yeah, it's also why
give them a hand job, you fucking losers. I mean,
it's also why Lower Decks hit it hard and hey, no, we're not like them. We know what's going on. See, we can do references and we know what we're talking about. When we name drop, we know where this thing fits, and this is sometimes it actually plays into the plot. Okay, so secondly, there's this lie that people keep spouting about the Next Generation being hated while it was airing. A lie that's being perpetrated. Nearly 16% of all Americans watch Star Trek Next Generation premiere episode counter Farpoint. Yeah, so that's a 16 share for a first-run syndicated drama, going up against network shows. So that ain't bad, okay?
Based on a show that hadn't been in the mainstream for a couple decades, by the way.
In fact, that's about twice what the audience share was when Star Trek was canceled in '69. Okay,
people were excited to see a new generation of Star Trek. They really were.
Yeah.
Yes, there were holdouts. Yes, there was some hate. There's always going to be that in every show, always.
In fact, actually, that was about the level it was when the show premiered in ⁉66.
Granted, population also went up, which plays a part too.
Yeah. 16%, which means 60% of a lot more shows, a lot more TVs. So now the quality...
It's complicated. It's absolutely complicated, but it was not universally hated. It never fucking was.
Yeah. And he admits this. Now, the quality wasn't as good as it would be in future seasons. That's any show. But that's just what happens. For the most part, as you get a little run on, then you get a little more money, and you've already got everything else built up, so you can add to it.
I've seen plenty of shows get worse every season.
And those are idiots, and they get canceled, hopefully. Okay.
Some of them were really good shows that went that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never gave a shit about that show. I mean,
But it's a quality one. Yes, yet this idea that the next generation was hated upon its release is a lie. That series embraced the same formula that made the original series so popular, and because they followed that formula, they too found success. Getting a little on the soapbox there, buddy. Yet, when you deviate from what fans want, layered stories of conflicting morality for the most part, and you give us shows of films that reject that mentality, yeah, fans are going to have an issue with it. After all, they ordered the steak, not the sushi. Yet you keep bringing them sushi, wondering, why aren't they so mad? I made something really great, except it's not what they want. You'd think the people who made millions of dollars a year trying to figure out audience trends would realize that. There's many theories of what's going on here. Someone was like, there's an agenda driven here. They don't care about audience figures. We have to get out the message, you know.
But that is actually what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's all about their messaging. It's all about their social agendas. It's not about the actual storytelling. Mm-hmm. That's been Hollywood for quite a while. That was slanting that way in Hollywood when I was a child.
Oh, yeah.
And if you ever want to see that, see the freaking weird-ass shit they put in the Masters of the Universe live-action movie in the 80s.
Yeah. It's just finally a critical mass where it's like, that's it. You're done.
That one is one that would be considered cringy with the woke shit even today.
Mm-hmm.
Because, A, you had this whole point where Master at Arms, the one supposedly greatest warriors with weapons in the entire universe, couldn't hit the enemy and had to be pushed out of the way by Tila for her to talk about being a woman at arms.
God.
And then they had an entire meltdown. She was having a tantrum because you're eating an animal. Because they were eating chicken.
Oh, boy.
Yes, they're all vegetarians in Eternia. What? Speak.
Well, I was just thinking, you know who I would love to see take on Star Trek if it, you know, if this whole thing with getting Secret Hideout booted out of there happens?
That's going to happen eventually. Yeah. What?
I would love to see Paul Haggis take on Star Trek.
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, it would be a nice big fuck you to Scientology.
Well, they don't need one substitute one agenda for another.
Yeah, I was going to say, that sounds like agenda for agenda. Don't get me wrong. Scientology can fuck off. It is an absolute massive cult that is destroying people, forcing abortions and other shit. I could go on a tirade with and absolutely watch the shit that a lot of the people who've come out of it are saying and making now.
Yeah.
But we don't need that put into Star Trek. We don't fucking need that fight in Star Trek.
Yeah.
I didn't say put it into Star Trek. I'm just saying, you know.
But if it gets just don't even find out if he's a Star Trek fan first, okay? Before you do this thing. Because like when JJ goes, I was never really a fan of Star Trek. Then why are you fucking directing the movie? Get out of my office.
I don't know if Bob mentioned it while you guys were in the live stream last night, but one of Scientology's former members just died.
No, it didn't mention it because one, I didn't know about it, and two, it wouldn't have come up anyway. So anyway, back to the thing here. Harv Bennett, he didn't want whales. Tiny little fish, no more than that big, and it was endangered at the time, and the big kerfuffle because they wanted to throw off some development plans for like a dam somewhere. Oh, they're doing the snail darter that you're gonna.
Yeah, the whale thing was putting in some social commentary about the world at the time.
Well, it's like you wouldn't need a big tank or the whole quest of how to get back there and mind melting. Like if you take a Slurpee cup to wherever there's some snail darters, scoop up. You got like 100 of them in your cup. Okay, we're gone. Not much drama there.
But I know that movie had a little more modern day social commentary than some of the others.
Yeah, and it did have an effect. Whaling dropped like a rock after the movie came out. So.
And honestly, whaling was a serious issue then. It still is in parts of the world, but it was a serious issue then. However, it was not so over the top with the message that you couldn't just enjoy the story. Where you look at what they did, like say the movie they made for Lost in Space. If you took 99% of that movie and made it the movie, it's actually decent.
Yeah.
If you could cut out the whole fucking beginning where it's basically a love letter to the idea of global warming. Because the rest of it, they actually did pretty decent to the characters and who they were and what they did and all that.
Yeah.
But they had to put in this like love letter to global warming, and we're being driven off our own planet at the beginning. It's like, fuck off.
Yeah. So there's two things they could have done to make that movie just a little more of a, deliver. Is have Bill Mumy playing older Will. I mean, if he's tied up with the Babylon 5, fine. You wait until he's available and you shoot these scenes then. Shoot around him then. And have Jonathan Harris was offered a part, and his through it, I played Dr. Smith, or I don't. I'm not with you, and I understand your own direction. Good luck with that, but so have him mutated doctor because he was old and just do a voiceover anyway.
And look, I have the movie. I don't find it horrible. I do find it not watchable as much as some others because of the social crap they stuck in it. But it's not as overt as most of the shit today either.
Yeah.
They just had that little bit at the beginning.
I think Oldman did a good job as Smith, but it's like, no, I think the added thing of just have Jonathan Harris. I'm sure you'll be playing Dr. Smith. It'll be a voiceover, and Jonathan Harris is a great narrator and voiceover guy.
No,
he would have eaten that up with both hands,
Honest, the parts they did with the space spiders and the fearing the death of his family and stuff, they did beautifully.
Yeah.
Oh.
Creepy, but beautiful.
Yeah, and I think, as good as Jared Harris was, no, Bill Mumy in that part playing old Will, that would have been perfect. Okay, that would have been your perfect callback.
Oh, Bob.
And then how they got Jolene Blaylock back for Lower Decks. She did not appreciate her time there. She didn't appreciate being because you got, it's her big thing. You got to bring him in with good stories, not tits and ass. And she didn't appreciate being the tits and ass in that case. So she hasn't done a lot, but Mike McMahon's
oops.
There goes Bob again.
Oh shit.
I came back in time to belch it.
Okay. Well, there we go. All right. Well, that shows it's working. Okay, but Mike McMahon really wanted Jolene Blaylock, to fall. And thing is, he didn't go through her agent. Yeah. So let's get on here. Before Lower Decks, Jolene Blaylock hadn't been in a Star Trek production since Star Trek Enterprise series finale in 2005. It's not that she hadn't been offered, but she chose to step away from acting for a while. But Lower Decks series creator Mike McMahon really wanted her to be on the show. According to an interview he gave with Cinema Blend, he'd heard that Blaylock had said no to other Star Trek appearances, so he wasn't optimistic about getting her. But that didn't stop him from making an effort. Instead of going through an agent or manager, he reached out to her via a letter, telling how important her work on Enterprise was to me, not only as a fan, but as a writer on Star Trek, and how she defined Vulcans, and that to Lynn is like kind of a love letter to her work. The thing. And
honestly, I think the Enterprise version of Vulcans was the worst version in any Star Trek ever made. Well, at least that I've watched. I hated the Vulcans in that show.
Or Romulans infiltrated that were pushing them.
Now, I don't hate the actors.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying the way they wrote the Vulcans in that show. I absolutely hate them. That's why I refuse to watch it.
Yeah. Again, this is why you need to watch the later stuff, because then they explain it and how they become the Vulcans we know and love.
Yeah, they were still too annoying.
Yeah. Well, they picked that once, they had kind of, acknowledged Serac, but they hadn't really studied it. And they had a thing where they bring it back and say, no, this is what you've been fucking up on. and what? Fine. All right, fine. Shut up. You're distracting me. All right.
Yeesh, you two.
God. No, I don't need a big.
There he goes again, crashing.
Okay. Are we back yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, you're back. I mean.
Okay. What? We'll get to that question in chat in a minute. But it's like, and he included a script to Fisher Quest, which is the episode you're going to be, T'Pol's going to be in. And he said, it may have just been we got to her instead of an agent, and it read like it's like, oh, this looks fun, because she came in saying she loves the show. And when she came into Court of Lions, that's would just be credited as Jolene. Not Jolene Blaylock, just Jolene. It's like, hey, whatever. As long as we got you. I think from her, I see that as kind of gesture of she's not coming back as Jolene Blaylock. No, she's coming back as Jolene, fellow fan, doing her part. That's the way I see it. And who knows, she may show up in Star Trek Online or other things.
Well, that's why I said when I bash on, I hate how they did them in that. I'm not bashing the actors. The actors played the part the way it was written for them, even with the modern stuff.
Yeah.
I'll bash the actors for the dumb shit they say if they say it. But I'm not going to bash them for playing the parts the way they're written for them. I'm not going to bash Cumberbatch because of the shit they did in that movie. I'm not going to, all that shit. I'm not going to go after the actors.
Yeah. No, Cumberbatch was just handed a pile of shit and he managed to turn into...
I do not understand how he actually designed part of the character process for him playing the Grinch, and it turned into such a wussy with no voice.
Oh, that. Okay,
that's a separate one, but it's another example. That one I give him a little blame of because he actually had some creative control on. And I cannot understand that one. It was such a miss. But overall, I mean, I'm not going to bash an actor. Just over that. And this is a really fun day right now. So, to those out there watching through this shitstorm, we're trying, obviously. Yeah. But it's like, what do we define things as? What do we do with them? And that's where I think we get this, like, stuck in our heads, stuck in our hearts. Again, as fans, we sit here and we argue, we disagree. Some of us love one show, some of us love another, some of us revile some and love others. But it should be captivating enough to get the average fan to watch it, because you have to get us in the door to have the fucking disagreement in the first place. If you don't get us in the door to have the debates, then there's no debate and there's kind of a worthless waste of time. And that's, I think, where we have a lot of these struggles as fans, as whatever. We have a symbiotic culture with entertainment. Without the fans, they're nothing. Without the art, they're nothing. But at the same time, if you listen to every little criticism, you'll never get anything done. It's a balanced line of knowing what's right, what's wrong, and how to listen when it's needed. And it's a very treacherous symbiotic relationship at times to both sides. So where do we go in this situation where we've learned these things, we know these things, but the situation's still, modern Trek has a very big tendency to just dismiss the fans, to not care what they think, to not care why Trek became the phenomenon it was, to not be interested in all of that, just to push their agenda. You're not going to succeed that way. Yes, there have been Trek shows that have been beloved, that have pushed the boundaries of what the fans wanted and what the fans loved, but did so in a way that showed that the people writing it did respect the shows. They did understand what Star Trek was, and they did love it. And that's what I think you have to have, no matter what you take this into. And I tend to agree with that, Bob. It is a very parasitic creature now. And that's the balance we've lost. If you have a symbiotic relationship, let's deal with Jaffa, and they became a parasitic relationship where they breed and take from you, and they don't care what they do to you. that's never going to work long term for any culture where you need the fans in order to get the seats and the butts. You know, the butts and the seats. I know I invert things sometimes. Sorry, but fuck off. We can't do it if we're not willing to hear the other side. That goes for both sides. Star Trek, because they did listen to the fans at times, but they also knew when not to just change course. And now you've got people who they find it their mission in life, Star Trek, Star Wars, Marvel, DC, all this culture, their mission in life is to subvert expectations, to badmouth what the original creation was, to bash on the original creators, to change the culture that made all these people fall in love with the culture to begin with. And that's why it's not a successful mediary anymore. You cannot make it by bashing on the fans that made you your money, that made you famous, that made you important. Make it by bashing on the fans that made. And now I have an echo.
Okay. Okay, there we go.
Hey, I was killing time.
Hey, it works. Okay. It's why I bring you in for these situations here, so it's not just staring at a blank.
Because I can monologue about my culture very well. I mean,
yeah, and so I'm just staring at the pinwheel of death for 5 minutes while I'm trying to fucking fight with a computer.
This is why you should make sure that I know what's going on more often, so I can actually be here when your shit goes away. But yes, I went on a little rant about differences in symbiotic relationships because I am weird.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's true.
And it's not, and it is. No, it has turned to parasitic because they're no longer, back and forth with the fans. It's like they're strictly feeding off the fandom for their own, whatever.
And why? This is the part I cannot understand, and that maybe somebody can someday explain this to me. Why? Why do we bash on the very things that make us successful, that give us life,
Because they don't care. It's all dollar signs to Kurtzman. That's why I saddled every episode of Discovery with 18 executive producers. Because they're just there to get a paycheck. Because that's what it means when you get a credit. It means you get paid. Whether it has anything to do with the episode or not, you get a check.
I don't understand the modern culture. And it's not just that. It's yes, there's always been amounts of social commentary, politics and stuff in everything, but it didn't used to be such obvious propaganda that you couldn't enjoy it and actually see people treated with respect.
No, when they had Stacey Abrams walk off that shuttle as the president of Earth, okay, now you've chosen sides and you just tell the other half of your eyes to fuck off.
I am going to say to chat, we see the question, commented on it, repeating it does not help you. It makes us less likely to listen, especially with an autistic girl with PDA here.
Okay, let me go and put it up here. It'll show up. There we go. All right, what happened? Well, considering what the whale probe did, it just sort of sucked the energy out of everything. With that planet killer, the thing is, once the probe left, the power system came back on. So the planet killer would only be sapped so long as it's within close to the probe. So second it drifted far enough away, the power ships come back on, it's back to munch on planets. So
basically,
unless it reached a point where it couldn't regenerate, I don't know. By the way, anybody seeing pictures of supposedly the planet killer on the blue stage? No, that's not how they filmed that. They did a little bit of a kind of a photo analysis best they could on Trek BBS back in the day about just what the hell was this thing made out of? Because they didn't buy the thing about the air sock dipped in cement because it would collapse under its own weight if they did that. And Roddenberry wasn't really in a position to, you know, that.
How are you doing today, Price is Right?
Because Norman Spin was thinking bristling with weapons and everything, and they said, no, we really can't afford that. And they did this, basically the cornucopia of death. But looking at it, it's like, well, what the hell was this thing? And the best everyone figured, we basically took a stage light with a rotating starlight filter or something like that, in orange gel, and just probably wireframe, maybe just coat hangers bent in this shape, wrapped it in aluminum foil and some colored gel, blue gels covering it for that color. And the best I can figure is probably filmed in front of a black background, because there's parts of it you can see stars pass through the darker parts. That's what happens at that point when you're doing that kind of thing. But it happened same thing when they did the Enterprise in the first pilot. They'd use a black background. There's parts of the ship where it's a little darker in the shadows. You can see stars through it. So.
Okay, Price is Right. I saw your message. I'm trying to think of something. I have ideas, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do them right away because the supplies I need are in the stuff stored in the unit, and I'm still injured in my back. But if you do want me to make you something like that for a memoir, I can, just probably more towards spring, because life is crazy fucked right now. Fuck off.
Here's what I think I do want to pontificate a bit here.
Because that's not your normal?
Well, again, I've seen some pushback when Lower Decks had that last episode and you showed the regular Klingon turn it into a Discovery Klingork. And the ship changed everything. That doesn't mean necessarily take the out. We don't have to reconcile a goddamn thing. It's an easy out. It takes the win. For God's sakes, why are people fighting this? Nobody likes Discovery. Not that people don't like the Strange New Worlds either, because no, it does not fit. There's no need now to reconcile Strange New Worlds with the original series. It is an alternate timeline. Take it. For God's sakes, take the out. Save ourselves a whole lot of headaches.
As long as they quit fucking with my Star Trek, I'm good. I mean,
yeah, and this is the boom. All right, it's safe left side. Yeah, it's canon the same way the Mirror Universe and the Kelvin timeline are canon. They're alternate timelines. Let it go. They've done enough damage. Okay. Like the reason why people jump, Mike, just being sitting here, just being a bit of a stinker. I knew what was going on. I'm not dumb, but
keep saying let it go, and I'm going to start calling you a Disney princess.
Don't make me call up the karaoke track.
That's a good way to get your channel struck.
Yeah.
Would you really get a channel strike just to piss with me?
No, not really. Although there are a dozen new Mickey Mouse cartoons that are now public domain, so I'm going to track them down and then do a big mess of Mickey Mouse cartoon with a different voices.
I'm just going to take those public domain ones and make the most inappropriate, vulgar shit out of them.
Oh yeah, you can get all kinds of vulgar shit. In fact, it even includes with the white gloves, because again, it's the aspects that within it, not just the cartoons themselves.
Never mind. I'm not saying that out loud. I'll give somebody else the idea first.
No, because the original thing of Popeye, the original first iteration of Popeye is now public domain too. But people say, "Whoa!" But not the thing about spinach. That came later. But actually, upon a little digging, they forgot to renew the copyright on the first reference to Popeye getting his strength through spinach. It's been public domain for decades. It just never occurred to me to use it without connection to Popeye. So it's
blow me down.
Yeah.
No, actually, I have a brother whose first word was literally Popeye. While pointing at the TV, mind you. By the way, did I mention my family is really weird and fucked up?
Yeah.
He was apparently a very fat baby. This is according to Mom.
Yeah.
And his favorite thing to do was to lay in the living room floor
Mm-hmm.
and watch Popeye. The thing
Mm-hmm.
is, he didn't crawl, he rolled.
Whatever gets you there.
And so she's out in the kitchen, and he is about 1.5 years old. He didn't want to walk.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't want to talk. Nothing. And all of a sudden, he just rolls into the room, points
Mm-hmm.
to the TV, and goes, Popeye!
Yeah. Well,
Because she didn't turn it on.
In fact, I just remembered when I was about probably that picture I dug up from Christmas in like 1967. I think one of the gifts was a Popeye bop bag, a little blow thing with you booping you in the market. Yeah, what I am.
I never understood why they kept fighting over that whiny, flat-chested stick figure bitch from hell who had no loyalty anyways.
Mm.
Just broom her ass and get a good woman.
Yeah.
I mean, she was skinny as a freaking noodle. She had no figure. She
Mhm.
whined constantly, screamed in everyone's ears, and constantly turned on one for the other.
I mean,
Why
Popeye's
the fuck do you want her?
Popeye's First Appearance was a Betty Boop cartoon. There you go. Come on. Get Betty in there. Yeah. Let Brutus take olive oil and break her in 10 seconds.
I hated olive oil. I still hate olive oil. I really am a weird woman.
I mean, nothing against, Shelley Duvall. God bless her. She, that movie was really not that bad. Yeah.
Really, that movie got a lot more hate than it actually deserved.
Yeah. And especially he finds great. When he finds Poop Deck Pappy, you think, hey, we have got the same pipe. You can't inherit a pipe. And the two of them just went. Okay, the Enterprise J was just there for one. It was thrown together for one quick scene. It was not meant to be any kind of big lasting thing. We're not even really sure it's gonna be. That's what's gonna happen. It's the potential alternate, future type thing. It's like, don't take it to the bank. Doug Drexel will say it himself. It was
as much as I love First Contact, there were issues with it too, including that's where they started really screwing with what the Borg were.
Yeah.
I really started moving away from it being a hive mind to a queen controlling a bunch of others who actually had minds. They just couldn't articulate it and shit. It got really weird.
Oh, one of my first emails to Ron Moore was about this. Did you guys watch Aliens a few too many times here? Because on the script, it didn't look very impressive. Like, this is just an Aliens ripoff.
And don't get me wrong, I love the movie, but I think part of that movie actually is part of what led to some of the downfall of Trek also. As much as I love the movie.
Yeah, I kind of fed Patrick Stewart's, urge to become an action hero.
Although I do have to give him credit, no matter how much he annoys me. He actually was pretty muscular in that movie.
Well, yeah, he was. And he's about 10 years younger than Shatner, actually. But he was still able to do it. And it worked within the story, the Captain Ahab aspect of it.
I just love the fact that she literally got him with his own book while not having read it.
Yeah. Well, Moby Dick is one of those things we've all heard. We all know the story. We've heard it quoted.
Oh, I know, so, but it was it was a beautiful irony the way they put it in.
Actually, I never read it.
God, what was I, about 5 when I read it the first time?
Yeah.
But I'm a big book nerd.
I mean, how many people know the first line is "Call me Ishmael," but beyond that, not a clue.
Could I actually recall quotes like he did in that? No. It's been way too fucking long since I read it.
Yeah. And I finally saw his movie version of it, Also saw a thing about the story it was based on. Oh my God, it's even more horrible. They would have prayed for a white whale to come because they just. But the concept of the Borg Queen takes a little nuancing here to even work really.
It does take some nuance, but it also does fly in the face of some of the continuity of the show before.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying I hated it or loved it, although the Borg Queen being the actress who played Becker's psycho ex-wife was actually really funny. You guys see that episode.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it was a dramatic need because it's tough to make a villain really exciting when it's just a hive thing. And again, someone's got to be calling the shots here. It can't all be by committee, So a Borg Queen or a series of Borg Queens, it does make a certain amount of sense if you think about it a little bit. Plus, for dramatic possibilities, I got to have somebody.
I've got the context of why they did it. I just don't think they did it the best way they could have.
Probably not.
Especially by the time they started throwing it into Voyager all the time and it got weird.
Voyager, it's like, we knew this was going to happen. It's like, where they are, it's like, the Borg between us and the Federation. What I think is the last episode, this is where the case that they should have got a couple more rewrites and they're going to fix a lot of the issues I got with that one. One of them, it's like dump the Tuvok going senile, you're going nowhere with that. I also don't think I'd bother with, because no. Let's focus on that. Let's make it because the Federation didn't look in pretty good shape in that future. Let's make it so they're on the verge of collapse because of the Borg. And someone mentions, if only we had destroyed that hub that transwarp hub 20 years ago, this wouldn't be happening. Have that be their justification for Janeway to go back. And so when they go back, they do boom, and that's it. The Borg are crippled. Then it's no longer there. Well, she just got pissed off because didn't everybody get back. No, now you got the whole Federation on the line if she doesn't go back.
See, I didn't actually get to see the final episode. I was in Job Corps then. Mm-hmm. And every time I've tried to watch back through it, I've never gotten that far before I got busy. Yeah.
I'm most irritated they didn't actually show the homecoming. There a couple more minutes, to have them actually land and have them, have Tom and his dad meet. And also because Katharine Hepburn was still alive then, I don't think it would have been unreasonable because the one who played Minuet in the One Next Gen episode on the holodeck, I'm blanking on her name, McCormick, their name. She looks enough like Janeway. Yeah, okay, there's your sister Phoebe. Perfect cast there, but get Katharine Hepburn as mother. It would have been a day's work for her. It's trip to Paramount, get a fact check, wait, not even a dialogue. And it would have, it's like Kate Mulgrew, huge Kate Hepburn fan, tell by her acting, would have been over the moon to do a scene, even just a simple scene like that with Katharine Hepburn.
I don't know. See, I have enough of a bitch streak. I don't want to do anything that would make Mulgrew happy. Fuck that bitch.
Oh, yeah,
I'm sorry that I'd say that. But like I said, with the whole Borg Queen, I don't hate the concept.
Yeah.
I just don't think they did it well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
I
don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird.
No, it's like whenever we get to a convention, the Mulgrew's there in the Q&A. I want to pitch this. It's like, this is how I think we should have ended Voyager. Okay, would have made just stick the landing a little more panache.
I don't know. The movie Greedy has a much different use of the female Borg than Star Trek Next Generation did. I mean, in Star Trek Next Generation, she was kind of really sweet and innocent and naive and modest and quietly spoken.
Borg Queen?
No, the female Q, I said.
Oh.
In Next Gen, there was the female Q that didn't know she was until later.
Oh, her, Olivia Diabo, yeah.
She was such a sweet and quiet little creature. And then you see her in Greedy.
Mm-hmm.
As a devious little backstabbing gold digger.
Well, she was Kevin's older sister in the Wonder Years.
Guess which one of those, though, I find a more fun role, honestly.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I might have problems with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a good girl, right?
Yeah.
There's something about the fucked up roles that just kind of appeal to base humanity in us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, okay, well, I can get behind this.
Yeah. I mean, there's some bits in First Contact that were, because the whole bit with the arm, with a piece of human skin, with growing some human skin on there and are blown across it. That was their way of having the Borg Queen give Data a blowjob on screen. Okay. And yes, they've admitted that.
Well, not like it was extremely obvious.
Yeah, and Braga's sense of humor is such. Yeah.
What's wrong with a blowjob, anyways? I mean,
ostensibly sort of a family movie.
and
no, I backed off a lot of my antipathy with her. I've forgiven Braga for a lot, okay, because I better understanding where he came from, but also have to see the idiocy that's come since then. Because, again, he wasn't completely ignorant of Star, but he also, his taste in science fiction was a little above. Let's admit it.
I can handle any of the Star Trek movies up to Nemesis. Nemesis can go fuck off into the oblivion along with everything after it.
That one's got so many problems in front of and behind the camera.
I fucking hate it so much. I actually Insurrection didn't get as much love as it deserved. It was actually really well written.
Yeah. Again, if there had been a 2-part episode of Next Gen, it'd been up for a Hugo Award. Okay, hey, this is one of the best episodes ever.
It had, but my big problem with all the Next Gen movies is that they really did just make them a love letter to Jean-Luc and Data.
Kind of.
There really wasn't that much growth or that much about the other characters. They had a few minutes here and there where they explained little bits of changes in their lives, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then it was all about Jean-Luc and Data. Every movie. It's like, well, I thought the whole point of the shows and the episodes was that we weren't supposed to focus on the same people every episode. We're supposed to see the complexities of all of them. They really fucked that up with the movies.
And that carried over to the first 2 seasons.
Price is Right.
But that carried over into Picard, where it's all about Data and my best friend. Data annoyed the hell out of Picard half the time during the show. Data's best friend was Geordi.
Look at the screen.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Well, that also, and that one actually was, and they flat out said it. It was written as an analogy for the Trail of Tears and what was done to the natives. And it really was openly that, but it was openly that in a way that didn't just make it sound like all of the people on the other side were all pleasant or evil or all that either. It was actually really well done from a centrist viewpoint of that kind of a situation. And the argument was for pro-liberty. Our government is supposed to be about liberty. Fuck you for violating that, which again goes back to Manifest Destiny.
And that's one of the best scenes in the entire movie is when it's,
to hell with our orders.
It's only a few hundred people. How many did it become before it becomes wrong, Admiral? 1,000, 10,000, 1 million? How many did it take? That's sort of.
Boom, also him telling the crew that we're violating our orders.
Yeah.
And Data turned around going, "Sir, I believe I speak for all of us when I say to hell with our orders."
Yeah.
It's
the one guy who knows exactly where to hit this ship you haven't patrolled the neutral zone. Wrong. Notice just how fast that ship is. It got from the neutral zone back to Earth in that amount of time. Movie time. Yeah.
I need to rewatch Insurrection, actually.
Yeah. That's a case of the ship moving at the speed of plot. Okay,
that movie I loved for so many reasons, and I thought that one got so little credit for how brilliantly it actually did a sci-fi version of the Trail of Tears, where it actually showed the humanity and flaws in every part of the groups, both the bad guys, the heroes, and in between. They weren't all just evil or good. There was so much complexity in that movie, and that's what you need in order for the stories to work.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with a good allegory or a good moral premise as long as you do it right.
Yeah.
And it's not just propaganda.
At the time, I was this is probably the most Star Trek story of the bunch. Like, as a movie, you might have problems with, but as a Star Trek story, no, it's perfect. Michael Piller knocked out of the park on this one. And they told them, get more humor. Okay, well, the humor works what they put in.
Yeah, they really showed them as a family, a crew. The way that Kirk always talked about the ship is part of you. It's who you serve, and the crew is the family, and
Yeah.
all that stuff that Kirk always said was so well represented in Insurrection and the way they stood by each other and stood with each other. Hey, crazy fucker. I mean,
and entering number 12, number 14, Y.A. Tittle.
What's going on? What? Thank you.
Obviously, a Redskins fan.
No.
Sorry about that.
I'm going to ignore that comment.
That was it. I was trying to. Who's the rival of the Giants? Well, I think the Redskins are. No, oops.
Well, they're bringing back Brian Dable and Joe
folks.
Shane. So I mean,
look, let's be honest here. It was 95% of natives supported the team having that name, so it's not like we opposed it. I mean, it was just a bunch of white liberals going, "Oh, but Fifi's," and we're sitting there going, "Have you seen the shit we're dealing with on the reservations? This don't mean shit."
Blonde. Yeah. When did blonde hair?
That's an actual Blackfoot chief. Fuck you, white boy.
When did blonde-haired white women try to speak for all minorities?
I think Rob is still trying to find.
Most of my lifetime. Actually, before my lifetime, because it's referenced in the things that MLK and Malcolm X and them said in the 60s.
I'm not hearing.
It's always been these white liberals speaking over minorities.
Is Rob coming? I'm not hearing him.
Yeah,
I'm hearing him fine.
Okay, well, great. I'm marked down. Somebody is.
So what's the
Bob's having a lot of technical issues today.
Yes, our lovely internet. They can't.
So what's the Star Trek news?
You want to pull that back up? The news of what you were starting the stream for today?
Oh, that. I need to find that thing. Hold on.
Oh, brother.
Are we going to recap here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Always.
Recap for the newcomers.
Alex Kurtzman's big. Alex Kurtzman.
There we go. Now I can hear you.
Perfect injury. His head was caught in the gears of a thresher. Nothing was lost.
Yeah, there was no brains to damage. I mean.
Okay.
How about we go? No, it started out. It's going back to the Harv Bennett and the one.
Do we need to put up the Monty Python thing? The intermission.
Stop it. I'll get copyright struck for that one.
Okay. They're real sticklers about that.
For some strange reason, yeah. And I did it way back when I got a claim on that. Okay, never mind. Well, anyway, I can't pull it up because it's.
Well, what was the news?
Well, started off with talking about how it's basically another case of Rachel Carrington strip mining the book, The 50-Year Mission.
Oh, okay.
Again, that book's almost 10 years old now, so talking about Roddenberry lost friends over the first season of Star Trek because it was rewriting everybody, even friends. We coaxed onto the show to write scripts for him.
I'm seeing everything. I'm seeing nothing but bad news about Section 31. Like we knew it was going to be. It wasn't going to be. Like this is news.
Yeah, it's like
we all know. We all know this is going to be bad.
The directors that you got from Discovery, the camera's constantly moving, rotating, pinning, twirling. He could not do a lockdown camera shot if his life depended on it.
Can somebody go to freaking Goodwill and get these people a tripod? I mean, geez.
I've got about 8 of them in this house I use in my photography.
Yeah, I think I got one floating over here somewhere. But
I've got one of them right here.
Yeah.
Now, what is it? I mean, do they just want is it just they just want it's cheaper to film that way? Is that?
No, they think it's artistic. It's like fucking JJ and his fucking lens flare everywhere.
Yeah, they're compensating for a lackluster script and boring action going on. Well, they're just talking. Yeah. There's a John Ford film. I think I forget the name of it, but it's like Jimmy Stewart and I think maybe I forget who the other guy was. They're sitting by the side of a river, they kind of soak on their feet, whatever, and just talking. Camera sit there, locked down, and the guys, and this is going. No, they're still talking. Let it roll. And it's just,
12 Angry Men is just talking.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like just show what's going on and let the actors act, for God's sake. Let the script carry the story. No one's going to give a shit about your cinematography.
Everything has to be red. But it's a red directive. You don't
Yeah.
understand.
It's like, what the fuck is a red directive?
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. They just made it up.
And that's one thing kind of irritated me when one thing did. I mean, Enterprise start, where everyone's got a little wacky. Or read alert. It's like, and I think the concept of a red alert goes back to at least World War II. Okay.
Yeah, that's
probably further back. Red alert, yellow alert. These are all Navy terms. We probably got them from the Royal Navy. Okay. It's not something they're coming to create from whole scratch because they're in space.
don't overthink things too much.
Mm-hmm.
He bring those military protocols too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it helps you if you have someone with actually military experience. That was again those. Again, the original series, but everybody had been in the military in some capacity. Cast and crew. Okay.
Yeah. Now we're lucky at the first third of the military.
Yeah, you look at anybody's seen a single war film all the way through. I mean, even next
even those
generation.
who have modern military is a joke compared to what it used to be. Oh God,
yeah, I've heard stories about Air Force basic training. It's like, seriously, it was a glorified Boy Scout camp when I went through. This is ridiculous.
Brother.
But like at least with next generation, yeah, you still had a few of the old guard there, but even some of the like Rod Moore had gone through Navy or ROTC in college. So there was a familiarity with how things work. With the original series, yeah, you had Roddenberry, B-17 pilot in the Pacific. Justman had been in the Navy. Gene Kuhn was in the Marines. Nobody had to tell them how it works on a military ship. They knew it, and that's how it operates. And the cast, D. Kelly and Leonard Nimoy both been in the Army. Jimmy Doohan was a hero on D-Day, for God's sake. That was missing a finger. Walter Koenig had been through ROTC.
I mean, you have and you do have people who work in the film and television industry that you can hire who will tell you how everything works.
Yeah, nowadays, like you get out. How many military advisors? They would not be mouthing off to the captain in the middle of a crisis situation. It's like, what's your thing? My thing is put the ship in warp, or I'm going to find another navigator.
You're going to say, yeah, what's your thing? My thing is for me to issue an order and for you to carry it out.
Yeah, lay in a course, attend warp 5, or get me another helmsman. Consider yourself relieved of duty, you smartass.
You don't have time for people to question you when you're in maneuvers or there's possible military dangers.
Mm-hmm.
I was never in the military, but I knew a lot of people that were in the military, and they would be like, "What the fuck?"
Let me put it to you this way: I am a native chick.
Yeah.
We are less than 2% of the population. We are almost 25% of the military. How much do you think are the odds of me having a very military family?
Yeah.
At least that's the offsetting of the at least 20 multiple 20.
No more than 2 degrees of separation, I think. Yeah.
A lot of military. My grandfather, when he passed away, we calculated things because he was a Korea vet.
Oh yeah.
And then he served as a drill sergeant for years.
Okay.
Then he worked his way up into services in the offices in the military. Yep. When he left that, he started working for professionally Veterans Affairs and helping care for other veterans. When they forced him out in retirement, he continued full-time volunteer work for Veterans Affairs for another 20 years. And we added up and calculated from when he was in junior training right before Korea through when they made him leave even the volunteer work. He served over 70 years of his life.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's commitment. That is commitment.
Yeah, I am very used to military shit.
I like I say, even though I was not, like I said, I was never in the military. I knew a lot of military people, but even I have a sense of like this is not how they would do things.
No.
And I always point to the fact that Janeway would be the first one to, as soon as Michael Burnham. Mikey
Spock.
Yeah, Mikey Spock. I don't want to call her Michael. I don't want to call her. She's Mikey Spock. As soon as Mikey Spock would question her on the bridge, Burnham, my ready room now.
Now. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now. I would love for that scene, to see that scene. I value the opinions of my officers. I would be a good
Now
captain
shut
if I
the
didn't.
shit up.
Yeah, but when I make
don't you ever question an order on my bridge again. But Captain, the only words I want to hear out of you are yes and Captain.
Yeah.
Oh, Captain, my Captain. Anyway.
Yeah. And that is one thing.
And there goes again. See, that's the thing.
That
was my. I grew up in a family that's full of military.
Yeah.
And it's just normal for the native families out in the middle of nowhere. That's our family is. We're either hunters, mountain folks, or military, or some combination therein. I mean, let's just be fucking honest about shit, right? And so I grew up with the whole military culture. I lived literally at the foot of Ellsworth for a while.
Yeah.
I would watch them do their maneuvers above the base. I mean,
it was a combination of MASH and Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas.
Yeah.
I saw that's a bad comparison.
No, actually,
if you didn't know, that's one of my mom's favorite Christmas songs.
It's one of mine too. It's one of mine too.
We love the song about Grandma Otter.
Grandma Otter.
Yeah.
She had a generous silhouette.
And yet she was known even more for the bathing suit she wore. Yeah, that's my upbringing. I was hunting and trapping and out there with military boys doing maneuvers and stuff as a kid. This is all second nature to me. And so when I see bad military representation in movies, I sit there and go, ugh.
Well, one of the things there's this thinking now was like, well, it doesn't have to be accurate. I'm like, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does, because if it lends an authenticity to whatever you're doing. I'm not going to tell someone their business, but I'm going to say, but I would say, hey, well wait a minute, what's going on here? What's
I tell people their business all the time, and I also tell them what to do with their business.
Yeah.
One of the funniest things one of the funniest things I remember though in the sitcom Community, they did a whole episode where Joe McHale was in a coma. And it was an episode of the G.I. Joe animated series. He was having a coma-induced fever dream, and one of them says, "Excuse us for saying this, sir, but this is a very disorganized militia." Yeah, what's anybody's rank? Cobra destroyed the Taj Mahal. Why would Cobra be attacking the Taj Mahal? There's absolutely no strategic value in it. It was just like, wait, they're killing people.
Yeah.
Cobra Commander's eulogy was hysterical. The funny thing about eulogies is I never had to give one. G.I. Joe and Cobra been shooting at each other for 20 years and missing. How did this happen?
No, I think another thing is, if Burnham had tried pulling with, let's say, Burnham has to go as far as does the neck pinch on Janeway. Comes out on the bridge, starts me. There would not be Janeway coming out holding the phaser on. It'd be like stun her, like get her off my bridge.
Get her off my bridge, yeah.
Get her on the brig. We're getting out of here.
Get her off. Consider yourself relieved of duty. As she went to the floor and collapsed on the floor in a heap. Consider yourself relieved. Get her off my bridge. That's a God.
Now, Kate Mulgrew had 3 sons, so it's like she knows how to.
How do I
one
know?
of the things that when they try to get after Bujold flamed out.
It is annoying. She had 3 sons, and she was still such a bitch to men. I mean,
I hate that I know more than people. I really do. I really do. I know. I hate that I know more than people that are supposed to know more than me.
Yeah. But when they brought her back after a second go around, after she'd done whatever the other again, no, you should go for it. Got her onto the bridge and hands on the hip. Okay, she knows how to pull a command thing. So large part, she did kind of save their ass in the most part.
I still think she's a worthless piece of shit.
Yeah.
I still can't stand her. But anyway, that doesn't mean I don't admit that she had some good qualities in playing those parts. I just look at her and go, ew. I mean, ew. Her as her. Janeway, some of the time, irritated the shit out of me. But at least was an understandable character. You know?
Yeah, well, she was the Starfleet in its only representation in the Delta Quadrant. She had to be even more of a hard ass.
Yeah.
It's not the hard ass stuff wasn't what irritated me. That stuff I understood completely. It was this.
Yeah. And yeah,
hard to explain. It was not the fact that she was hard on guys. That's fine.
Yeah. And the whole thing about like you could just, but we have to destroy the. Yeah, you leave a photon torpedo on a timer. Okay. Once you get back to get back to Federation space, it goes off. The Ks are still out.
Just like your internet. I mean. I'm sorry.
As it fleeks out again. Okay.
Literally, it came out with the K's on are still out, and you flew out, and I just looked at much like your internet.
No, the K's are still out of luck because you destroyed the array. They can't do anything with it. So Ocampa are saved. Everyone's home. And I think they would have done a little better, frankly. You still got your composite Maquis Federation crew. Had Janeway pull a string or two to keep them together, then start doing your adventures here.
Oh, we all know it was Star Trek's answer to Lost in Space.
I know. Yeah, that's one thing Marina Sirtis is right about. Yeah, it's Star Trek Lost in Space.
And that's the only thing that bitch is right about. I mean,
yeah.
My older brother had an idea for a series where it was just like a bunch of troubleshooters. I don't know if there's a name for a special like diplomatic, not necessarily diplomatic branch of Starfleet, but they just go. It's basically the next generation, but it's just under a different name. You have an outbreak of Aldebaran flu in this on this planet, and you have to go, and they just gives them an excuse to go and do different things every week.
They did try to put together kind of a spin-off back in the original with a hospital ship.
Yeah. And then you have, well, not necessarily a hospital ship. You have to negotiate a trade dispute on this place. There's a famine on there. There's you have to prevent a war here. I mean, just a bunch of different things.
That sounds kind of like a more serious version of Lower Decks.
Yeah.
You're not the first run. This is the guys who follow behind. They set up the communications arrays, rate the restaurants.
Very kind of not so glamorous version of Starfleet.
This is the second contact crew,
Actually, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, the second contact crew.
That's the way Borman put it in his own personal log entry. We're at second contact.
That's actually that's actually a very good way to put it. Yeah, second contact. The guys who actually go in and they do all the work to bring someone into the Federation. Yeah,
make sure the names are pronounced correctly, do the restaurant reviews.
Oh, they make a hell of an omelet on Cestus 7 or whatever.
Yeah. Like, how do you think they knew Argelius? In this place? Yeah. Well, who do you think got scouted that out?
You deal with the cultural ambassadors who educate you on their customs and the protocols.
Yeah. Another thing, when Lower Decks did the thing with Ferenginar, like they're okay. Well, we're actually building up proper relations now. It's time for us to go in there and scope it out.
Yeah, exactly.
And we learned a lot about Ferenginar in that episode. There's a lot of stuff that Lower Decks did.
Yeah, there's a lot of things Star Trek still can do. It's just that this current people running it are incapable.
I'm not opposed to new Star Trek. I'm opposed to new Star Trek as it's been done since 2009. Probably closer to earlier than that, since I really didn't like Enterprise either. Yeah. But that's a whole other rant.
Like I said, I think that I don't know. You start off from the beginning, maybe. I don't know.
I mean,
it's not redeemable to me. But anyway, I am harder on most things than you are.
Yeah.
a Starfleet Academy series can work, but again, it's
not
just
like this.
It's just going to be 90210 in space.
Yeah, because again, they've been trying to do something like that for God knows how many years.
This is the thing.
Harv Bennett tried getting it going. It's like, no, that wouldn't happen.
I try to think of how many people told me over the years, yeah, but you hate everything when we get into these discussion streams. It's like, no, there's a lot of shit I love. I'm just really critical of a lot of shit also.
Yeah. Like Rob Burnett's point, if it's a Star Trek version of the Paper Chase, yeah, that could work.
Judge Advocate Generals, yeah. And he froze.
Yeah, he did. He's been doing a lot of that today.
We had snow here.
Yeah, we have snow here now too. As I've been telling you, I've been waiting for the snow because the swans and eagles don't really come out and really don't get active in mating season till it snows. They like the snow. That's when they like to hunt. That's when they like to do stuff. So the last couple days since it snowed, we've done a few different nature drives, and 2 of those days came out with being like
we're back in.
Between the 2 days, averaging about 700 eagles I found and about 300 swans. I mean, once it snows, they're out everywhere here and they're doing shit. So it's like that's when I'm out and I'm doing shit, and I'm not as much here as I am.
Oh, when I was in Colorado, I remember. God, I was in a parking lot. I can't remember where exactly though. Yeah, you heard the eagle go. Wee! I was like, that was an eagle. I was like, that really? They really make that sound? Holy shit!
No, if you heard that sound, if you heard the screech that they use in entertainment, that wasn't an eagle. That was a hawk.
Oh, okay. I did hear that sound though.
That is actually the recording they use for that is a red-tailed hawk.
Okay. All right.
Eagles sound like a cross between a songbird and a seagull, honestly.
I'll have to look it up because
I've got clips I can show you I've recorded.
Okay.
Yeah, eagle's cry is actually not very impressive, actually.
No, it's actually really soft. They kind of actually sing like songbirds at each other. It's really weird.
Yeah. My brothers.
They're vicious though. You don't want to cross them.
Oh no, they're big. They're big fuckers.
Big.
Holy, oh my god. When I was in a zoo in Sweden, they actually had a snow owl. That was massive.
Yeah. I know. When I was down at Daytona, I was pulling off I-95 going into town. There was a bald eagle sitting right there in the middle of the opera. I mean,
great horned owls are about the same size as the bald eagles and stuff we get here, and golden eagles. And the owls and eagles will actually hunt and kill each other.
Oh wow.
They both seem to like hunting each other. They both like the taste of each other, but they got about a half and half chance of actually taking each other out. So it's like it's a real death match. But it's like that's one of those things. It's like you don't interfere at that point, but yeah, they're definitely hurting the endangered species at this moment. And yes, eagles aren't endangered anymore. They're still nowhere near the population they've always been historically. They're nowhere near where they belong. In the heydays and settler days, eagle population, from everything they can ascertain from the landscape, was probably at about 600,000 to 1 million in the U.S.
Wow. DDT did a lot of harm to them.
A lot of things did a lot of harm to them. We still have about 60% of the eagle population has some level of lead poisoning. So we're still fighting that battle, but we're gaining ground at least on it. Just like the trumpeter swans were actually down to where they were dropping into what they thought were double digits at one point, and now they have a known population of about 6,000.
Okay.
So there's actually been quite a rebound on them, and those are the swans that migrate through here that I track and do this stuff with. So we're making ground on some species. We're actually helping rebound them. We're actually working hard, and this is why when people bash on zoos, it's like, do you know how many of these zoos are actually accredited and actually helping protect these endangered birds and repopulate them from poachers and other shit?
Big part of their job is preserving these species.
Now, if you're not in an accredited zoo, a lot of them really are still the piles of shit that they talk about. But accredited zoos need more support. They do so much work to help save lives of the animal species. It's amazing stuff they do.
No, Denver's is a big one there.
Oh yeah.
For some reason, bald eagles, golden eagles, and trumpeter swans love Iowa. which I don't get at all. I really don't fucking get it.
Yeah.
But they do.
Plenty of flatland so they can hunt, probably.
Then they don't really spend time in the flatlands. They spend time in every little oasis spot where there's trees and rivers and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rocky Mountain is pretty good for beagles.
It's really weird, but about a third of the bald eagle population is here over half of the year because they come here when summer ends and they spend winter here. And right when the snow hits, they all come out into the public in mass and have their hunting around the rivers and fishing and mating and all this stuff. And then they go off into their corners and their nests. And then when it gets really hot and humid and sucks because it's Iowa, they leave.
We actually had a bald eagle nest along the Quinnipiac River in where I am, and it was surprising. Everybody was like, "Wow, there's a bald eagle over here." And actually, I walked onto the dock back when my previous job this is years ago. We saw him flying. I'm like, "Yep, that's an eagle, all right. That's an eagle."
So if I told you that on my information, I have privatized my maps I've been building. I actually have charted mapped and work with reporting in on DNR on now almost 200 eagle nests in this area.
Really? Wow.
And all of this is done through a private email that does not give my actual information out. So it's all anonymously given to DNR. I'm not getting anything back for it. So
one of the things I was actually I've been I wouldn't say fascinated with them. Yeah, I've been fascinated with the idea of the big cat population in the Rocky Mountains. I love seeing the mountain lions and the cougars and and one thing's actually talk about the
not so fun when they're close to town.
Yeah, not so much.
And it's your little dog is about to get turned down.
Mountain lions are the ones that I have trouble getting the pictures of. When you see them, they very quickly disappear as soon as they see you. The one I did get good pictures of that I can show you here a second.
But the Florida panther population actually has rebounded. There was as few as 30 of them left. Now the numbers are up to 300. They're still endangered. I mean, there's but they're rebounding. Yeah, slowly but surely they're rebounding.
Let me introduce you to Christmas Eve 2 years ago.
Okay. Let me see.
This was in Wildlife Loop in Custer State Park.
Ooh, kitty. It's a bobcat.
Yes. It gets better on these because...
Oh, look at him.
Yeah.
Or her.
I'm pretty sure it's a him, and I've been watching the cave for a while. I've seen it many times, so I've only managed to get the pictures once. I've been watching it for a couple of years.
These guys are generally about the size of like a medium to large dog.
You can even see the scar on the nose, which probably came from the fact that it lives near where a bunch of coyotes are.
Okay.
Yeah, this was my fiddling with the camera.
Oh, wow. That's a nice shot right there.
Yeah.
Art mode. And
who's that big kitty? Who's that big kitty? Who's
you said you like wild cats, so I thought I'd share a few with you here. This was literally all within the span of maybe a minute and a half before we had to get out of the way. We're blocking the road. This was on a corner. This is everything else, but I had to get some pictures quick, you know?
I think you get the right one. Yeah, it is just a big kitty cat,
I think
problem is it's a cat that knows he can take you if he has to.
Oh yeah. I think we saw a bobcat in Golden Acres Park over in
that
Longmont.
That was Christmas Eve 2 years ago. There's actually a couple little short videos on my channel of the cat where you can see it slowly doing that super slow rotate, watching, trying to make sure nobody's watching it and stuff.
Yeah.
Where it's like acting like a statue, but turning slightly and watching as it's doing it.
Yeah. Pretend to be a rock for a while.
It kind of blended into the rocks. It took a moment to see it.
Yeah.
A friend of mine in Conifer. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're fine.
A friend of mine in Conifer actually captured a mountain lion on her Ring camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
it was at night, but I was like, it's like, oh yeah, that's a big kitty cat. It's the best.
Conifer,
he stays outside.
Yeah.
She was telling me that there's a fox, a red fox that comes by the tree line where she is, and he has a case of mange because he's all the hair is off the tail. And I said, well, call the game. Can you call the game warden, or can you? Because we'll just spread it to other animals.
The wildlife department,
yeah. She said she's gonna actually. We found out what you could do is you could give them ivermectin in like a meatball or a piece of chicken.
Yeah,
and that usually takes care of it.
But then you got the issue; they're expected to be fed. So,
well, you leave it out there, and then you just let them take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't actually give it to them.
No, I've seen that footage of like security cameras showing bears coming out of the evergreen and going through dumpsters. So,
oh God, bears!
Yeah, we got wildlife out here.
I've
been driving by the Coors Brewery, and there's a deer in the parking lot next to. Okay.
You were talking about eagles here. This is actually one of the pictures I took at one of the nests I'm helping watch.
Yeah,
birdie.
Yeah,
more than one, in fact.
Yeah,
look behind it.
Oh yeah, there's the head of the other one.
Yeah.
Now they come back to the same nest every year.
Yes. On occasion, they will get rid of the nest they had and build a bigger one or a fancier one. And usually when they do that, one of the younger couples that just started mating will steal the old nest and start building it up. So right now we have a place on Otis Road down here where there's the nest that I've been watching for years that these guys were in, which now has this young couple in it. And then there's another nest they built like in the tree right next to it that's got the old couple in it. And they're both active nests.
Yeah.
I've read stories about nests growing to like 8 feet wide.
Oh, they get bigger. They're big birds, so they need big rooms.
The standard eagle nest is about 7 to 8 feet wide and between 10 and 20 feet deep.
10 to 20 feet deep?
Yeah, you don't see it usually because of where it's hooked in the tree. You just see the edge, but they build it down into the points of the tree so it has extra support and stuff. And I have seen ones that get up well over 10 feet on occasion. And the thing is, eagle nests tend to weigh between 1,000 to 3,000 pounds.
Now, they'll build the nest on the side of a rock face, too.
Yes.
Hey, now my typical East Coaster, like, wow, do you know 8 to 10 feet, 10 feet deep? Do you know what a place like that would go for in New York? Holy cow.
But this is the stuff I do. I spend a lot of time tracking these. I've, in the last few days, seen almost 1,000 eagles and found several new nests. So, I mean,
there's one town in Maine. I can't remember where it is, but the eagles have pretty much overrun it. I mean, there's an inordinate amount of them, and it's a lot of fishing in the town. They eat the fish, and but the thing is, though, they eat the fish, and they're protected animals, but they're pooping everywhere, and they have like big bird poop. So just imagine like 100 Ben Franklins sitting on your front porch, just eating and
I watched a freaking eagle that was getting annoyed at a squawking goose take a dump on its head.
What are you gonna do about it? I'm protected, bitch.
They're like, we gotta think of Canada goose everywhere. They don't seem to leave anywhere.
Oh, Canadian geese are bad.
That's why I don't call them Canadian. They don't go to Canada. No, they're not named after, they're named Canada.
They do go up there. They're just not. They're not mostly there.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. In fact, the name actually came from a misnomer based on the person who discovered them.
Yeah, a guy named Canada. That's why. No, they're Canada geese, not Canadian.
I take pictures of small things too.
Pretty.
And you gotta admit that is a well detailed photo.
Yeah,
it is. It's very detailed.
No, there's a flock of geese. There's a lake near it. They just stay there. They don't go anywhere.
My favorite, though, I think, out of the animals I track in the wild is definitely the trumpeter swans because they're so rare, because they're so unique. Every so often you find weird ones because they have a lot of the same areas that they'll inhabit different parts of the year as mute swans, because mute swans are basically in every part of the world to some degree because for some reason they've just spread over time. And so it's like, it's the wildest thing because mute swans are so hyper aggressive. They're so loud. They're so everything, but they're named mute. Trumpeter swans are much bigger than mute swans, but they're really docile and quiet, and they're not aggressive. It's like, so the trumpeters are quiet and the mutes are loud. And it's like,
go figure.
It's a total crazy thing, but I love doing this stuff. But even the most basic animals, if you get the right photo, it's still freaking phenomenal. And yeah, I'll use this one as an example of what I consider that. That's just a freaking female mallard. But you can't tell me that does not have some intricacy in that photo.
I've never seen a mallard do that.
That's just in the middle of a stretch when she was getting up. I just caught it at the right angle.
Yeah. No, we had a couple of mallards in our backyard for a while.
The amazing stuff you can get if you get just the right moment with an animal, I think makes it worth it. But I think that's where a lot of people get kind of lost on a lot of this shit. Because I've talked to people who, well, they don't want to take pictures of everyday animals and stuff. It's like, well, they're still part of nature.
Yeah.
I mean, the mallard is listed as a domestic animal.
I've got pictures of newborn, wet from birth, umbilical cord hanging, bighorn sheep. I've taken some crazy stuff and found some crazy stuff over the years of doing this. And yet, as much as I adore those photos, and I'm looking for this one here a sec, still, I'd say some of the best photos. Yes, I love those photos. I've got intricate photos that are great of many things. I don't think I'm good at much else, but I really feel like I'm good at my photography. But I will argue that the picture I'm about to show is pretty much as good as almost any of my other photos of the more rare and intricate animals. It's a fucking Canadian goose, but look at the balance line in it and the lighting. How often do you get that kind of a picture with that kind of angling?
As soon as I can see it, hold on.
That's actually really nice with the reflection.
And that was in a fucking drainage ditch near the house here. That takes skill to make an Iowa drainage ditch look like that.
Yeah.
See,
Art and photography isn't about having the perfect setup for the rarest photo. Those are great, and you treasure those every chance you get them.
Yeah.
The getting the bobcat, the seeing the newborns, the getting the mountain goats inside of the mountains, stuff like that. I cherish those. I love those. I spend time searching out those photos. But they're not what it takes to be a photographer. A photographer can make something beautiful out of anything.
See, I'm kind of envious because the skills I have, I can't make money at.
I'm kind of envious because you're better at promoting. I can't promote this for shit. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not good with the business end of it. I'm great when it comes to being an artist and a photographer. I have no fucking clue how to promote myself.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you can just sell them as stock photos, just to.
I think a couple of weeks ago when I was stuck downtown waiting for a bus that ended up just blowing right by me, I was like literally right across the street from the Comedy Works.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking about, should I go over there? I don't want to risk missing the bus though. But yeah, ended up skipping me anyway. But I was like, let's go and see what's playing. I think Josh Blue was listed in there.
There was a freaking comedy club. Was it a comedy club? It might have been just an open mic in Fort Collins. I can't remember what the name of it was. But yeah, it was kind of intrigued by it.
Collins, I don't know.
Fort Collins. Fort Collins is kind of nice.
Well, yeah, it's a nice little town. I went to CSU for a year there.
This is kind of what I've been trying to get to with people. I'm trying to teach them that it's not all about which circumstances you get or which perfect shot chance you have or all that stuff. It's also about making the best out of the moment you're in, no matter what it is and where you are. Yay, more stuff. I mean,
okay, that's got to be it. The Comedy Fort. Yeah, that's got to be it.
All right. Okay.
So it's like photography cannot just be about having those perfect moments, especially because most people do not get as many of those moments as I do as a photographer.
Oh God, the freaking on Google Maps, the Comedy Fort, the picture they have. Okay, you have coming soon, Derek Stroop, Catherine Blanford, Moms Unhinged, Ramon Rivas. Tonight, the show when this picture was taken tonight, 2 dykes and a mic. 6 p.m. sold out. Oh, for crying out loud.
I like the fact that there's still a lot of people trying not to let this censorship culture take root.
Fort Collins has the nice mix of sort of old like Western sort of frontier town.
Oh yeah.
And modern kind of whatever. I mean, you could tell a lot of the buildings have been there for a long time.
Oh yeah.
This may not be the most perfect photo. It blurred a bit. I was kind of taking it. But at the same moment, say goodbye to the prairie dog.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, those furry little bastards are everywhere. So
yeah.
You're not going to miss one.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of coyotes and wolves in that area. So it's a lot more than one that goes this way.
There's a prairie dog colony over on the east side of town.
If I go to where I live, where I was born, and go out of town and drive about 5 minutes, you're surrounded constantly in places where you're going to find coyotes and wolves. Literally. It's literally minutes from where I was born.
Oh, the oldest wolf in, I can't remember what state park was, actually passed away. She had a run-in with a bear.
Ooh, that'll do it.
Yeah. 11 years old. She had 10 litters. But it's rare for a wolf in the wild to live that long.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. How about this one? Just picture being on the other end of what it was angry at.
Yeah, I'd rather not.
Obviously, it wasn't looking at me when it did this.
Yeah.
But that is one pissed off face, isn't it?
Yes, it is. That's why I like being on the side of this side of the wolf that I'm on right now.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I love my work. I tend to be very careful with it, though, because I've seen too many idiots get themselves hurt doing this work.
You have to respect the surroundings. It can be potentially dangerous, and you don't want to make it more dangerous.
No.
Do you know how many times in the time I've done this, I've been face to face with anything from mountain lions to wolves to eagles and other stuff right near me?
Really?
You got to know what you're doing to be safe in those situations. And you got to be able to have the whereabouts to keep your head, to make sure anybody who's around you or with you is to safety while you get yourself there safely. It's not for the faint at heart. It's how many times doing this work I've had to find poacher dump sites or help with reporting and tracking poaching and stuff is also a reality. And that stuff will gut you when you find it. It's horrific. And it's like, so it's not an easy job. It's not. I love it though. Every minute. Some days make me want to cry, and some days make me feel like I'm flying. But I love doing it. I know I'm A, sharing a part of the beauty of the world and helping people learn about it. But B, I'm doing something good. I'm helping the animals, you know?
You are.
Plus, moments like this are fun to catch.
Okay, currently at the Comedy Works, we got Brian Posen, 9th through the 11th.
And that one, by the way, is a coy wolf. He is actually a mix of both. He is not pure coyote or wolf. Which they do more often than people realize. Most wolf and coyote species are not pure blood. Because they will mate with any wild dogs that they find near them.
I refuse to believe that a Bichon Frise is descended from the wolf. I refuse.
Like, how many different breeds in between do you get from a timber wolf down to this little white buffalo?
Yeah. Everybody has that relative that's an embarrassment.
Yeah, looking at who's playing the Comedy Works coming up here. We got Aaron Weber, Adam Clayton Holland, Adam Ferreira, Adam Friedland. A lot of Adams in this thing.
Although I'm probably going to have to get off the stream because my husband's home and he needs to actually build the chair that I'm supposed to sit on in here. Because this is not comfortable. My chair that was in here was old from the thrift store when I got it and had been through a couple rooms in the house and decided to break. So...
Got Adam Ray, Adrian Misa finally out of the Adams. Adrian Iapalucci.
That's the fun of my muscle issues is everything I use for furniture has to be rated for about 100 to 200 pounds higher than my weight, or it breaks because I have so much motor control issues getting up and down.
I just look for like heavy duty everything. Just, whatever it is.
It's like, so me being, not a skinny woman, as I told everyone, when I was skinny, I still weighed about 200 pounds because I have chest and I'm tall, I'm not a skinny woman. I'm not that delicate. I can flat out tell people that, and I don't weigh that much, but because of my nerve issues and how heavy I sit and get up and stuff, because of the pain issues and tics and everything, most things I buy, I try to buy rated for about 500 pounds so they won't break. I don't weigh that much. I just don't.
That's actually a good thing. And like I said, I look for the same stuff because I know I'm gonna.
It's gonna be better quality. It's gonna survive.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be made of metal rather than plastic, or
Look at little diamond art cardinals.
Oh.
I got a whole bunch of them here. I also got a kit of bath bombs. I love my bath bombs. Maybe a little addicted to them. I may go through a lot of them. I may or may not have an entire shelf I built and put in next to my tub that's full of bath bombs, salts, and bath supplies. May or may not. I mean,
yeah, this is just a list of all the comedians who have played in here, not just one.
This is one of my favorites. They go so nice on their stuff, and they go so fancy on it, and they wrap them all up really fancy and everything. And I love these. They relax me. If I'm relaxed, I'm less bitchy to you guys. So now what do you think of me getting these?
I approve.
No, it's like new talent night on tomorrow night. The Comedy Works.
Oh, it's just an open mic or just a new talent showcase.
Yeah.
So the kit I just got has 24 different little cardinals, 6 types, 4 of each.
Caroline Ray's coming up. Comic Works South.
Caroline Ray. She's good.
She's gonna be Comic Works South, whatever they got down in Premier Tech Center.
So let's go through this and see what types of cardinals there are in this kit.
4 nights.
By the way, I did kit up and prep to work on your wife's stupid poster she wants.
Okay. Mark Maron is playing the Boulder Theater.
One of these days, your wife has to stop trying to get me to make her everything.
Yeah. The Boulder Theater's a fun. Christopher Titus is going to be playing Comic Works South.
Yay, Cardinals! I see a lot of red beads in my future. I was actually thinking on the Cardinals here, because there's so much red beads used and so much repetitive stuff, that I might alter some of them, make some into females, and do some other stuff so they're not all the same. But I showed you the one type. Then put that down. There's also this one, flying.
Okay.
And this one.
I need to pay more attention to my BitChute channel.
And there.
Boys.
Now, to make little ornaments that I can give out to people for gifts for next year. Because I, on general, am that person. I make stuff all year. I give stuff out all Christmas season. And between my women's group, my church group, my family, which is massive as fuck, all the groups I'm involved in, the people I send stuff to, and then they're just randomly carrying around little packs of gifts and giving them to people as I wander around in the stores. I tend to give out between 1,500 to 2,000 little gift packs every year.
Yikes.
It makes me feel special to make people smile, though.
Yeah.
At least I have a purpose, right?
No, I recently rescued a little shelving thing from the little square thing, but yeah, you don't. I might be able. Right now, I got the internet server sitting on. I might just move that down one shelf, put the Christmas tree on top of that.
But that's, I guess, to all the people who think I'm just a bitch.
Yeah.
I am, but I'm also a bitch with a heart of gold.
Yes, you're a giving bitch. Yeah.
Which I realize would just lead the gnome to calling me a tsundere again. But fuck him. Anyway.
No, there's a Hallmark special in there somewhere. The giving bitch. Yes.
We now return to Hallmark's The Giving Bitch.
Starring, I don't know who would we cast in that? Kathy Bates, maybe? I don't know.
Not that old. Fucking hell.
Cameron Manheim, but she's kind of,
I don't know. I should go out in the other room and get to work on some stuff, though.
Farrell, that'd be fun.
I predict a lot of red beads in my future. But to work I go.
All right.
Stay out of trouble, you fuckers.
We've been at it for 2 hours on this thing, even though Rob just showed up.
I wish
he showed up a bit ago.
Yeah. I'll probably get some to eat in a minute here.
Okay. And I don't know how much longer this signal will really hold out anyway. So it's like,
for God's sake,
it's been off and on as it is. It's ridiculous. But,
I
need to get something out. There's one of these live streams. It's about $7.50 racked up. It's like, what the hell? The algorithm sometimes is a very giving thing. Otherwise, it's like, oh, it's earned 10 cents. It's got 10 times the views. Oh, so let's see.
I gotta climb back to monetization.
Yeah. A lot of it's just start cranking stuff out.
Run the rock simulator.
Pretty much, yeah. Gaming stream, rant, whatever. I'm still trying to get a proper editing situation here, so I can get back to doing proper videos.
What do you use for an editing package?
Normally I'd be using Adobe Premiere, but it's like and I got a couple of things where it's still set up, but it's like the laptop and supposedly a stupid computer over here, but it's like they said stop working on me. And I tried to reinstall it here. Well, you've installed it on too many computers. Fuck you, it's my program.
It's your program. I mean, geez, you paid for it, didn't you?
Yeah. And like trying to get another one. Well, it's like do a new one though. It's only a 3-year license.
Well, if you want something that's good and free, it's DaVinci Resolve is good. I use it for a lot of stuff.
May look that up.
It's like I said, it's a free program. The professional version costs $300, but
Jesus Christ.
But the free version, I mean, they actually edit Hollywood movies on this.
Yeah.
But the free version has more than enough bells and whistles. The only thing that's a little lacking is the green screen effects, but they're good enough.
I barely do green screen anyway.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a bit of a resource hog, but at the same time, it's a free program.
Yeah, as long as I get something good. I mean, I got a Microsoft thing, but it's just really just cut and splice. Not much. Not much of the bells and whistles.
Yeah. Yeah, Magix is good, but I haven't used it in time.
Oh, well, that's already down.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking. I mean, there's a pretty steep learning curve with DaVinci Resolve. But you can find a lot of tutorials on YouTube as far as how to do things, blurring, cubing out stuff, blurring.
Well, one thing I found,
a lot of people use it on YouTube, so there's no shortage of people that are.
Well, there's a lot of there's a lot of things like using one editing program. You've seen most of them. So,
yeah,
they all got to kind of do the same sort of thing.
And the good thing about DaVinci Resolve is they have a special setting to make your videos more YouTube friendly. It'll automatically go to the resolution, and you click the button YouTube. When you export, it'll give you the MP4, the resolution, the frame rate.
Installing now.
So it's a very good program.
Malvari.
Like I said, it's a bit of a resource hog, but but it's actually, like I said, it's good.
Yeah.
Any computer made within the last few years should be able to run it.
Well, this is ostensibly a gaming computer, so it should be able to handle it.
Yeah. That it shouldn't. This is a gaming laptop I have, so
Yeah.
it runs it with no problem.
So this, the only
it is prone to crashing every so often, so keep it up to date.
Well, such is life now. So with that, we may have solved my editing problem.
Yeah,
I really don't feel like throwing $100 at Adobe for the.
Like I said, for YouTube, this is more than you need.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, so many people use it for YouTube. So,
okay,
so much of it has its own setting.
Okay. Well, I think we'll go ahead and pull the plug on this one there. So we will. Yeah. Okay. We'll talk at you later, kids.
Yeah, and it does a lot of stuff. I did most of the
Is this thing going on?